Alright, so let's take a look at another tool that's used nearly all the time in Maya, and this is the multi-cut tool. You can see it here, it appears there, and let's have a look. Is it mesh tools? There we go, multi-cut. Click on it, and you get this kind of like little scalpel icon here. And so what can you do with it? Well, it's called multi-cut, which multi means it can do many things, and usually it's used for cutting or adding resolution. So let's just say we want some resolution along here, this surface here. Now if we click on it, so here it's created like a little blue dot or vertex. If you hover over it, it turns red. Okay, so we've placed a vertex here, and let's go to this edge here and click. Now we can drag, and you can see the orange line that connects the two vertices to create an edge, and then just basically let go. Boom. And then right click. There you go. You've created an edge. Now, one thing you should know is to not leave edges hanging like this. Resolution needs to terminate at some point, and what I mean by that is, let's take a look at, say, this edge here. You know, it doesn't just stop at the end here. It goes around the back here, it goes here, and then it goes along here, and it double back. It double, excuse me, it double backs on itself. I, I struggled saying that word actually. Basically, what I want to say is it creates a loop which just goes round forever, as you can see. It double backs on itself. There you go, I said it now. Right, and so here, this edge, it just stops, and you don't want that. You want it to end at some point. So, you know, you can do it manually, and you can just go boom, 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 boom. And see, I'm just clicking every time I arrive at another edge. You see, and then I've got to continue, continue, and so this could take forever. So I'll show you a quicker way of doing it. So I'm going to go into edge mode, double click this edge loop here, control delete to get rid of it, or I just did control Z just to bring it back. Go to edit mesh and delete edge and vertex. Boom. Okay, so let's go back into the multi-cut tool, and what you can do is hold down control, and when you hold down control you create an edge loop, you see, and you can move the mouse along the surface here to determine where you want to place the edge loop. So let's just say we want to place it here. Click. Look at that, instant edge loop all the way around. So you don't have to click one edge at a time. There we go, control Z to undo it. However, this is useful if you want to create some kind of bizarre or unique shape. So for example, maybe I want the edge to go here, and then here, and then down here, and then up here, and then across here, and then there, and then right click. There we go. So I wanted to create some kind of unique shape, in this case some kind of like diamond type shape. So that's when it's good to actually just click one edge at a time. But other than that, you know, you can just hold down control, left mouse button, click, and just move along. There you go, control Z. I'm going to do it now. If you want an edge loop that goes directly through the center of your object, so you hold down control, and this time it's middle mouse click, boom, there you go. So it instantly places the edge loop directly in the center of the object. So now you know that the spaces between these the center edge loop here and the edges here and here are exactly the same distance. Okay, and there we have it. And so yeah, you know, you can just, you know, click away. There we go, and just to create, you know, basically just be as imaginative as possible. You know, there you go, and maybe we can select these faces here, extrude, and just bring it forward. So we've created this kind of like bizarre shape that is now sticking out the side of this object. Okie doke. A couple of other things with the multi-cut tool. If you hold down shift, it creates a black vertex directly in the center of the edge. There you go. So you know you are creating a straight edge from one edge to another edge. So boom, boom. So that's holding down shift. There you go. If you hold down shift control, it draws out a green dotted line. There you go, and you can move the green dotted line at certain angles. There you go, and then click once you're happy. Boom. So it's drawn a straight line all the way down, and that's Shift and Control. There you go. These are the basic controls of the multi-cut. There are a couple more options. Let's double click on it, and we have edge flow, which is best demonstrated by creating a curve. So let's just quickly do that. Let's grab these faces here, hit extrude, and I'm just gonna like bring them out like this, and grab the multi-cut tool. Remember, hold down Control. I'm gonna add an edge loop there, and so what I want is to maybe create a curved surface here. As you can see, it's just flat and straight. So go into vertex mode, click drag all the vertices, W for move, and I want to move this up. Now if you take a look at the pivot, it's actually aimed in this direction, but the geometry is aimed in this direction. And so hold down W, W's for move, left mouse button click, and we can switch to world mode. Boom, there we go. And so now if you take a look at the pivot, it's going in the world mode. However, the geometry is still going in object mode. It's going in this direction. Now it might not be an important thing for you. Maybe you just want to move this up in the world mode, and that's fine. Or maybe you actually want it to go up in the object mode. So you want the pivot to be facing the same direction as the geometry. To do that, hold down D and select a piece of geometry which is essential for aligning the pivot. So it would be any of these vertices or edges that run along the surfaces. So let's select this edge, and you can see the word align under the cursor. Click on it. Now look at the pivot. It's perfectly aligned with the direction of the geometry. So now we can lift it up. There you go. So we've got this kind of zigzag, but we want it curved. So let's double click the multi-cut tool and select edge flow. Now look what happens. Boom. It's creating a curvature. You see, a flow. And look at that. A nice curved flow. There you go. Now it's creating a bit of a bump in there, and that's why, because sometimes Maya gets a bit confused in which direction it wants to go in. And so, you know, it's not a big deal. The whole point of modeling is to do some modeling, and so when you're faced with you know, doing a bit of extra work, it's probably safe to just go into some kind of angle here. So this is the side view, so we can see the vertices here straight on. Select the relevant vertices, and we can just like move them up, you know, and just do a bit of modeling. And there you go. That's the whole point of modeling, is to actually do a bit of modeling. And here, these need to go up just a bit more as well, as you can see. So there we go. So it's kind of, it follows the curvature. Maybe just bring this down a bit more. There we go. Maybe bring this down a bit more. There we go. So we've got this curved surface here, and there you have it. And if you want to take a look at the wireframe, just click on this here. Boom, and you've got the wireframe visible on the surface. Now again, this was the demonstration I was using here, and rule of thumb, never leave geometry hanging like this. Always make sure you terminate your edges. And so I stopped here only because I was showing you you know, how to use the multi-cut earlier. It was just a part of the demonstration. However, if you do want to finish it, grab the multi-cut tool, remember to hold down Control to create the edge loop, click. There we go. However, it leaves a gap here. Now, if you take a look at it, it's all bumpy now. Now, why is it bumpy? Control Z, double click. It's because we've got edge flow switched on. So remember, if you don't need the edge flow, just to switch it off, and so it won't give you any problems. And now Control, click. There we go. And it stops here. It didn't connect it because you have to connect the two ends yourself. Maya doesn't connect the edge loop for you, and the reason for that is, if you take a look at this face here, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, and this tool only works if you have your geometry being four-sided, like this face here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the geometry along here are all four-sided, and so there we go, boom, and then you just complete the edge loop yourself. Boom, job done. So basically that's the multi-cut tool.